holding on to resentment, like I said, is like eating poison and expecting the other person to die. It only hurts you. Like most of the time, the person you're mad at doesn't think about you or it. They don't care. Go be a light to people that look like you wouldn't normally talk to them. It'll change your life. It's all how you pitch it in your own head, right? If you think it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. And if you think money has to be hard to make, you have a limiting belief to shift.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show. I'm your host, Athin Cassiotis, and today I have an awesome guest. His name is Jim Huntzicker, and he is a mindset strategist, coach, speaker, and the author of Mindset Breakthrough. He helps high-performing entrepreneurs and high achievers destroy internal resistance, rewire lifelong patterns, and finally create success that's not just visible, but unshakably aligned. And after years of being successful on paper, but stuck in cycles of self-sabotage, Jim developed a breakthrough framework rooted in NLP, neuroscience, and deep emotional reprogramming backed by behavioral psychology. And his coaching work dives into the subconscious layers that silently drive behavior, limiting beliefs, resentment loops, core programming, and the unspoken not enoughness that keeps even the most driven leaders from real fulfillment. And Jim's work is grounded, practical, and built on the belief that your current results are a reflection of past decisions, not your potential, and beliefs are just decisions that can be redecided. Welcome, Jim, and thank you for being on the Business Growth Show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, mate. I'm sure it's going to be amazing for everyone watching and listening today. You are a successful entrepreneur. Yeah, for those people who don't know who you are, introduce yourself by telling us a bit more about you and your journey.
Yeah, well, like you said, my name is Jim Huntzicker. I've been mostly in the real estate business most of my life until the last about 4 or 5 years when I started getting into some personal development and coaching. But I had a unique journey that 6 businesses that were profitable businesses I walked away from. And at the time, guys will see I'll slow down my speech here, but I talk fast and I think fast. And so I told myself I'm bored. Like I got if I went to a doctor, they'd tell me I have ADD or ADHD or whatever. And so I was always telling myself I'm bored. And so I was a real estate agent. I was in the top 1% of agents, and I just stopped. I started flipping houses very successfully. I've been involved in about 850 transactions. I just stopped. I started flipping apartments very successfully. I just stopped. I created an online product for real estate investors to teach them how to use the MLS to find deals to flip. I sold 800 of them. It was $1,000 product. I just stopped. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm not going to bore you with the details of all the businesses that I walked away from. But the point is, the 7th one was profitable until it wasn't. And that one was like, God or the universe, whatever you believe, was like, hey, I'm going to take all your money away because you didn't pay attention in the first 6. So this time I want to get your attention. And so once I look back, I was like, what did I do? Like they were like, it was like, what I realized is that like when the business got to 500 to 800,000 in revenue, I checked out. And so what a couple of years of soul searching did, because I did not know why I was doing this. And I've been married 20 years. I've been with my wife 22. I got 2 amazing kids. Actually, they're twins. Their birthday is today. But what I realized is from growing up, I had some crazy deep beliefs about money. I had major money issues. My money mind was a mess, and I didn't know that because I was making money, right? But what I was doing was running from the money because what I knew growing up, my parents, we grew up poor until we weren't. But like till I was about 5, we were pretty poor. Like we were homeless when I was 4 years old. We moved in with my grandparents. Like it's not like we were living on the street, but my family of 4 was living in one bedroom of my grandparents' 2-bedroom house. And so my dad went from they drank a lot. They quit when I was 3 or 4. My dad went from laying concrete and driving limos when I was 5 to when I was 10. He owned multiple gas stations and a real estate office. But the fights didn't stop with my parents. So it went from fighting about having no money to fighting about having money. And they got divorced when I was 12. So to my 8-year-old mind, money's always a problem. Money was never good. Money caused problems. It caused parents to fight and families to break up. And my adult brain I carried that into adulthood. And I made sure that didn't happen to me. And how did I do that? I walked away from businesses that were profitable. Revenue didn't go down. Nothing. I just walked away from these. And so that's how I got to this point. And I realized, okay, I have several unconscious patterns that have been messing with me, and I got to figure out how to change them. And so I went on a journey. I thought it would be a month or 2. It was 2 years. I took off 2 years after I got my butt kicked in the last business. And I studied. I once I dove in. I mean, dove into studying NLP. Like I couldn't get enough of that because that's once I realized that's pretty much everything Tony Robbins does on stage. I wanted to know more. But I also studied human psychology and human behavior and behavioral psychology. And I like studying all this. The craziest thing is I ended up in quantum physics. I was like, how did I get here? Like, and I couldn't get out because it's most people are like, oh, how do you even understand that? I'm like, if you you don't need to be a quantum physicist to understand quantum physics. The guys have already created most of what you need to understand, right? So you just need to go understand. This is what the super smart guys figured out and go read it and you'll understand it. Like Einstein's theory of relativity, like or E equals MC squared, the time-space continuum. Like people think, oh, I'll never understand that. Well, just go look at what it is. You'll understand it. It might be over your head at first, but once you dig in, you'll know. And so it's crazy how much getting into like quantum physics really relates to human behavior, human psychology with like the observer effect and a conversation for another time. But that's how I got here. And so I started coaching myself and now I started coaching others because what I realized is a lot of entrepreneurs feel stuck. Even after they made millions of dollars, they feel unworthy, right? Like entrepreneurs that mastered every strategy, they still feel unworthy. Like they made $10 million and they don't feel like they should. And it goes back to our subconscious beliefs about money. All of it is from before we were 8 years old. And so most people don't even realize your beliefs are decisions. And you decided to believe them once, you can decide to believe new things now that you're older and know different stuff to be true. Just most people don't ever go through that process or know it's even possible, which is why you see guys lose $300 million, right? Like usually that's athletes, right? But you also see guys, with $50 million businesses go bankrupt. Like how do you have $50 million and go bankrupt? Well, because you were never comfortable with the money in the first place, right? So you made sure you gave it away. And giving it away, when I try to teach people, it's like, oh, I wouldn't give it away. Look, I'm a really generous person. I'm like, okay, are you so generous you're giving away your wealth because you're not comfortable with it? Because that's the thing, right? Like people give away all their money because they're not comfortable with it. So people do it in different ways, but you'll find, or like, here's a great one. Like you got $1 million to invest and you go invest in some like startup that has, if you got a couple $100 million, no big deal. But if you only have $1 million to invest and that's all of it, and you put it all into one startup, that's not a good idea. And when it goes under, well, that's how you gave away that $1 million is you gave it to a startup that was a terrible investment. Maybe you should have given it 100,000, not the whole million. And so you'll always find ways to get rid of it when you're not comfortable with it. And so I had to figure out how to get comfortable with money, and it was not easy. Like for me, I had to like with their limiting beliefs, and then how do you figure out what they are? And I'll go through a framework on this conversation here that explains how to find them and then how to get rid of the surface level ones. But the core limiting belief, the one that's messing with you the most is kind of like if your parents raised you, let's just say your parents raised you, or whoever your primary influences were, your core limiting belief, the one that's causing the biggest problems. And these problems start between 35 and 55 years old when you realize life's kind of not turning out the way you thought, what you expected is not the way things are. Life's a little harder than you thought it was going to be. So it really starts to manifest and like rear its ugly head about 35 to 55. I was right on track. I was at like 35. That's when this started really messing with me. And so uh, the, the core limiting belief is the marriage of your parents, a little bit of your mom's, a little bit of your dad's. And then here's the kicker though. Here's why it's so hard to get rid of, and people, and especially men, don't like to deal with this. It's anchored by resentment. And it's like, oh, like what? Like how I like, especially if you like love your parents, like how can I resent them? But trust me, you do. And so it's just stuff that you're not even conscious of from growing up, things that happened, things you heard. Do you remember everything from the time you were 1 day old, even before that, until, forever. Your subconscious doesn't forget any of it. And we know through modern hypnosis and NLP style hypnosis, like real hypnosis, not like stage stuff, quack like a chicken, like real true hypnosis, they can have you remember stuff from when you were like a week old, a month old. Like that stuff can be recalled. And so it's all stuck in there. And so now knowing this, think about the stuff you might have heard growing up. Like I had a really messed up, first 10 years. Like my parents were terrible alcoholics till I was 4. They drank like crazy. I mean, I can't even imagine the stuff I heard, and so and what I was around, what I experienced. And so they thought, they didn't know, just like your parents didn't know, right? Like they didn't know that I was able to like register and hear that stuff when I was 2 years old, whatever messed up conversations they were having about needing more alcohol and whatever else they were talking about. And so that stuff all resonates. And so then these resentments build with your parents. And so you need to let go of those resentments. And it's not easy to do, right? Because you gotta feel it. Like part of letting go of these resentments, you have to feel it. And feeling it's probably gonna bring up some emotions. And so guys are like, oh no, I can't do that. And like that's the craziest thing about us as men and like, and like being emotional, crying, is like we were programmed like, this goes way, way back to like, soldiers don't soldiers that kill people don't cry, right? So if they're going to take the emotion out of the soldier, so they did that to an entire culture, and that's kind of what happened with us. This goes going back, 100 years, but still, that's what happened to society. Is like men have to be soldiers and strong, and so we were taken out, and so we live in different times now. Like, you can still be a soldier, but you're not required to anymore, right? And so it's just it's a very different way of being. And so anyway, that's what I realized. Is like I was like, okay, I figured out my limiting belief about money, and okay, and didn't seem to like go anywhere. And then I got to the resentment part about, okay, it's anchored by resentment. I'm like, I'm like there might be something there. Because I love my parents. They're both still alive. But there's no doubt once I thought about like growing up and like I don't remember a lot before I was 12 because it was so chaotic and fighting. I think I just blocked it all out. It was all fights. Like, I mean, like there was no abuse, but the fights were like nonstop all the time, always about money, mom blaming my dad, like when we didn't have it. So dealing with that was not easy, right? It's emotional. But that's what like, so if you are at a stage in your life where you're having an issue, especially as an adult between 35 and 55, the odds are that your core limiting belief is rearing up. It's tied to resentment from one of your parents or both of them, probably both. Because even like my wife had some issues from scarcity. They grew up, they weren't poor, but they lived like they were because both her parents were poor. Like growing up, they both grew up poor. So they brought that into their lives, into how they raised their three kids. And they both had jobs. They had good money. They always had income. They had an inheritance from one of their parents. Like there was money, but they didn't live like they had money. They lived like in scarcity. Like the mom, my mother-in-law cut their hair. They shopped at a discount store for clothes when everybody else got to shop at like the nice store. And so my wife, who her mom's her best friend today, she's like, she could not possibly fathom that she would have a resentment against her mom because she's so close with her today. But once I'm like, okay, babe, I'm like, this is going to hurt a little bit, but I'm like, I had to like break her open because I knew in our conversation there was an opportunity, and it was time. And so when I did, all of a sudden it was like, I mean, like the floodgates, like, she's like all the stuff I didn't even know. I mean, I knew there was stuff there, but I didn't know how deep. And I'm like, look, babe, see, and she's like, what do I do? And I grabbed my book. I'm like, page 36, because that's the resentment one, right? Like to let go. As long as we're talking about resentments, it's deep. Like, so here's how you get rid of resentments. It's 5 steps, right? Like you got to name it. You got to figure out what it is, right? And so name it. Growing up in scarcity, and then you gotta feel it, right? You gotta sit there with it for 5 minutes because you've been resisting this your whole life, pushing away, and it didn't go further away. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. It didn't go anywhere, right? And so now that you're dealing with it, it's gonna hurt, right? And you got to sit there and feel it because that's part of the process, right? And then after you feel it, you do a cost benefit analysis on it. Like, okay, is this worth having? Of course it's not, but you have to walk your subconscious through this process. Like, what are the benefits of holding on to this resentment? Because holding on to resentments, even when they're due, even when you're right, right? Like some people are like, I'm not, they did this to me. Like if there's abuse or sexual abuse or really messed up stuff, they're like, they don't deserve it. Like, no, it's not for them, it's for you, right? Like you're holding on to this resentment is like eating poison and expecting the other person to die. The only person it hurts is you. You're not going to tell them you're letting them off the hook. This has nothing to do with them. This is all in your head because you're the one being affected by this, right? So I have people all the time. They're like, I'm not letting them off the hook. I'm like, you're letting yourself off the hook. This has nothing to do with them. Like you were innocent. You had nothing to do with this. Like you were taken advantage of, and you're still letting it affect you today. You're eating this poison and thinking it's going to hurt them, and they probably don't even think about it. They probably don't even know you think about it. Like they don't care. And so anyway, so you gotta name it, you gotta feel it, you gotta do a cost benefit analysis, and here's the key that you gotta reframe it, right? Like give it a meaning that serves you. Like why is humans, we automatically assign meanings that don't serve us to so much stuff. Like just give it a meaning that serves you, right? That drives you forward, that makes you feel good, it makes you feel powerful. Like why we don't give good meanings to things, even the shittiest, the worst things, even the most terrible things that happen to people, you can assign good meaning to. It's a choice to make it affect you and make it affect your personality. That's all a choice. And so the last one, so that's the five steps. Name it, feel it, cost benefit analysis, reframe it, and then let it go. Like literally say, I'm letting this go. When I was figuring this out, I literally was going like this. Like I'd be like a motion to let it go. And it was like I could like feel it. I would say it out loud, like I'm letting this, the resentment I have to my parents because they fought so much about money, because they screwed, like I'm letting it all go. Because here's the thing. They were doing the best they could with the cards they were dealt, just like you, just like your parents, just like your grandparents and your great grandparents. Everybody was doing the best they could with the cards they were dealt. And that's why families have such a history of passed down of poverty, of scarcity, of even of weight, right? There's families that are all overweight. Like, there's a guy in the US, David Osprey. He's a biohacking guy. And he was like 300 and some pounds at one point. Everybody in his family's fat. And now he's like 4% body fat, and he's been for a long time. And so everybody in his family's like, oh, we're big boned, or we're just overweight people. And he's like, that's not true. And so he's bucking the system in his own family. But there is a history of that, because when everybody's fat, you're like, it's easy. Like, okay, we're just going to eat the fat food too, because that's all because we have these blinders of how we grew up. So there's no blame here too. Like that's the best part of this work. If you haven't done this work, the best part is judgment just goes away, because everybody's doing the best they can. Nobody's trying to do poorly. Even guys that are out there murdering people, like they're serial killers, they're nuts. They're doing the best they can with the cards they were dealt. Because if you knew the story of their life before they were 8 years old, you'd be like, oh, like it's not okay. Like he should still be in jail and should still, whatever happens to but you understand his story, right? Like it's like, oh man, he was brutally beaten like for 6 years of his life until he finally ran away. Like, of course he hates everybody, and so you just got to know the person's story. And so that this gives everybody grace, right? The best part of getting into this work and like really going introspective on yourself is you realize, oh, okay, everybody's got issues. Everybody's dealing with a problem. Everybody's dealing with a struggle. Like, who am I? Like a guy cuts you off on the road, and you're like, oh, you let it get you. Like, guy's just having a bad day. Why are you gonna let it ruin your day, right? Like that guy's, maybe he's late for work. Maybe his girlfriend just broke up with him. Maybe he's had a death in his family. Maybe he's on the way to the hospital. You don't know and when you're letting it affect you on such a deep level, like just be like, oh, he's having a bad day, but I'm not, and just keep on going, right? Like why do you let this stuff affect you? And don't get me wrong, this is all new for me too. Like 5 years ago, I'll say 6 years ago now, like somebody cuts me off, I'd be like, oh, I was like, I wouldn't go cut him off, but I was very upset about it, right? And now, like, it's like, oh man, guy's having a rough day. I send him love, right? Like that's like that. Like there's a Ho'oponopono prayer. Have you ever heard of that? It's sending people love. It's I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I say it I do it. That's one of my practices every morning. I have a grateful journal. That's the most I've ever been able to journal in my life is write about what I'm grateful for. And then I send 3 people love. And I always send at least one of those people as somebody that might have wronged me at some point, because they need the love the most. And so I do it every morning, and it's so powerful. And I've even done it on myself. Like if I'm having a rough day, I'm like, all right, I need to do a little Ho'oponopono on myself, and I'll think, just all you gotta do is think about them. If you know the story of Ho'oponopono, it's insane what this doctor did in Hawaii. Have you heard the story?
I've heard it a bit, with NLP, but yeah, happy for you to share.
It is. Yeah, that's where it's from. It's not based in NLP, but it's NLP is based in stuff like it. And so he just looked at these charts. He never met with the people, and these guys were never getting out. They couldn't keep employees at the mental facility because it was such a rough crowd, murderers and rape, just terrible people. This guy didn't meet with one person. He just looked at their files and prayed over them. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. He did it with 10 minutes on each file, and people started to get better. And they started to get out of this facility that nobody ever got out of before. And all this guy did, he didn't meet with any of them. He just sat in his office and prayed the Ho'oponopono over their file. I mean, it's wild stuff. So our words are stronger than you could realize. And your thoughts are not neutral, by the way. Your thoughts are commands to your subconscious. So like when you have I am statements like I am not good at, you should never, ever say I am not good at, even in your head, because your subconscious is like, oh, okay, you don't know, like me. I didn't used to be good at reading, and I was never a strong reader. And I'd always say, I'm not good at reading. I'm not good at reading. So guess what my subconscious did? It made sure I didn't read. I never picked up books. I never read. By the time I was 40, I probably read 6 books, maybe. Think and Grow Rich was one of them, like a very profound book I read. But 6 is maybe. Now I'm 47 today, and I've read well over 250 books. And how I did that was I stopped telling myself I'm not good at reading. I started telling myself I'm learning to get better at reading. I'm becoming a better reader. I'm becoming a better reader. And so when I changed that internal dialogue, what happened? I started picking up books like crazy. Like I couldn't stop. Like I couldn't, like, oh God, like this is incredible. And then I started listening to audiobooks. Like, oh, and then I would listen to the audiobook, and then I would read the book because I'm like, I gotta read this thing because it was so good. And so like the stories you tell yourselves in your head they're not neutral. They're commands. And so another one with me, so I'm not like a lot of guys, I'm not good at details, right? Like knowing details, especially about myself. So like when I went on this introspective journey of soul searching and figuring out like what my problem was, they're like, well, what are your limiting beliefs? Like, I don't know. Like how do you figure that stuff out? And I always said I'm not good at details. And so of course, my subconscious is like, well, we're going to make sure you don't figure out the details then because you're not good at it. And so I changed that to I'm getting better every day with details. I'm getting better every day. And now I pick up details, like the craziest little details. I'm like, I can't believe I just came up with that. Like, that is incredible. But it's because I tell myself that I'm getting better and I'm trying. But if you say you're not, then you won't, right? It's that powerful. And so if you pick up one thing from listening to this, what I would never say again, another day in your life is I am not anything. It's if it's especially if it's something you want to get better at. If you want to get better at reading, you got to get better at whatever, working out. Like here's another one. I don't have time to work out. Okay. Well, then your mind, your subconscious is going to make sure you don't see opportunities like taking the stairs as an extra opportunity to get some exercise, or parking in the back of the parking lot and walking an extra 50 steps to go into the store. You won't see those opportunities because you don't have time to work out. But if you tell yourself, well, I'm looking for opportunities to work out, you'd be like, oh, look, the stairs. Or I could park in this back spot and I could walk an extra 50 feet in and out of the store. Like we're all only as good as the stories we tell ourselves, right? So make sure the stories you tell yourselves are good and make sure they count, right? Like make sure they serve you. Like assigning a meaning to something that drags you down, like even death, even terrible abuse, like you could assign a good meaning to it. It's a choice to if you're looking for the bad, you'll always find it. If you're looking for the good, you'll always find that too. It's a choice. So now I can go on and on and on. Which way do you like to take this conversation?
Yeah, I love it, Jim. You're in flow there, mate. You're giving a lot of
Yeah, for
amazing
sure.
stuff there, which is amazing. And yeah, and I think this is the power of like someone like yourself and myself that are trained NLP and coaches, right? Because a lot of the time, people, you probably know this as well, 95% of their thoughts are the same thoughts they had yesterday, and they don't actually realize that they're actually saying these stories, right? And you actually need someone externally from you going, hey, do you know you just said that? Right? And they're like, oh, no, I didn't. I really didn't realize that there was this limiting thing that I've been telling myself or something. So they bring it out. And as you get better yourself, we can sort of introspect, like you said. So I think it's important that we have somebody there to trigger these things to go, okay, well, this is what, and be open to work on it, right? And I think I know one of the things you talk about that I love to know more about is the 4 layers of resistance that block your momentum
Yeah.
as well. So tell us more about this, because there's always resistance, right, with us, and it's how do we remove that resistance to help us to move forward? Yeah.
So all right. So here's a great formula. um, is your intention plus non-resistance will get you your intended result, right? And so I used to say desire, but what I realized about desire is it puts a gap. It puts it where you don't have it, right? So even in the book, I mean, in my book, it says desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. But through my own studies, I'm like, you know what? That doesn't feel right anymore. Like I put intention, right? Your intention, what you intend to do, plus non-resistance equals your intended result. And so that puts no separation. Your intention is just what you intend to do. Desire means you don't have it, right? And so I had an epiphany recently. I'm like, it doesn't work for me. I don't like the desire play. I got it from a guy. I forget who I saw it from now. David Bear. David Bear, great, a changed mind. He's got great stuff. He's a great dude, great program. But it didn't work. One day I'm like, I read it, I'm like, that does not feel right anymore. But here's the resistance, right? If you want to talk about resistance, you got four layers of resistance. And so the first one is limiting beliefs. And its surface level limiting beliefs are easy to change, right? I'll go through a framework. You can draw a piece of paper. I'll do it in a second here for you guys, where you can walk away with that framework and do it right now and change a limiting belief. So surface level limiting belief, super easy. Then number two is resentments, right? So again, resentments. Now this is not just like your core limiting belief, which is number three, by the way, on the resistance, but the uh you have resentments against other people too. The guy that cut you off, the guy that wronged you at work, right? The guy, the friend that did you wrong, whatever. And you're harboring those resentments, and they're eating at you, right? They're killing your ability to grow. And so like holding on to resentments, like I said, is like eating poison and expecting the other person to die. It only hurts you. Like most of the time, the person you're mad at doesn't think about you or it. They don't care, right? They're either self-absorbed or they've moved on, or they're hurting somebody else because that's who they are. But you're letting this person affect you. And so learning to let go of resentments is so powerful. And I needed it. I was so judgmental. Like God love my mom is amazing. She's a great mom. But she was extremely opinionated and extremely judgmental, and still is to this day. Like I'm always like, Ma, shut up. Just please, Ma, please keep it. She can't. She cannot. She cannot, because she's doing the best she can with the cards she was dealt. Her mom was this way too. So what I learned though is how judgmental. I didn't realize how judgmental and opinionated I was until I was like, all right, I'm not going to judge anybody. I'm like, well, that was hard. That was hard. So to get all the judgment out, I had to let go of all these resentments. I had to I had to die and become reborn because I was extremely judgmental because my mom was. And so now the best part of this work is I don't judge anybody. It's amazing. It is such a freeing feeling to look at somebody and just be like, if I knew your story, I feel for you. And so I don't have to like you. I don't have to be friends with you, but I would understand. So the judgment goes away. So resistance, so you got surface level limiting beliefs, easy to change. Resentments, you got to deal with them, whether you like it or not. It's holding you back from, if you're not somewhere you want to go, there's no question your resentments are step one. Let go of your resentments. Your core limiting belief, right? That's your third one. We talked about that already. It's usually a marriage of your parents, if that's who raised you, and it's anchored by resentment. So that's why it's not as easy as a surface level limiting beliefs to get rid of. And then the fourth one, and this is the one, even guys that have made tens of millions of dollars still struggle with this. Like I have guys that make big money, like $10 million plus a year, and they struggle with this. And it's being enough, right? Like we all have this voice in the back of our head, like, who do you think you are? You can't do that. You're like, guys that are making 10 million a year, like, you shouldn't be making 10 million a year. And they sabotage themselves. Like these are super successful guys that have had figured out these strategies, but they're still their mindset of poverty or scarcity, however they grew up, starts to come back between 35 and 55 years old. Nobody, like, again, how do you think guys lose 50 million, 300 million? Like, it happens all the time, right? Like you could, if you go to ChatGPT and say, give me 20 stories of guys in the last 5 years or 10 years or whatever that have lost over $100 million, or lost over, $10 million, and they were super successful prior, they went bankrupt, or they, made a bad, you'll get a whole list, right? There'll be athletes, there'll be business guys, and so like they were never comfortable with the money. Like they figured out how to make money. And because like I think I said this already, but like from my history of burning business to the ground, the best part about that was, once I look back, it wasn't great, right? But so much good came from it. And the best part is I realized money's easy to make. And if you hear me say that right now, and you say, no, money has to be hard. Well, there's your first limiting belief to deal with, because money does not have to be hard to make. You have a belief that it does because of how you grew up. Probably your dad, like my dad, worked every single day. Like, so my dad, why he became super successful and ended up making a lot of money, he worked 7 days a week. He was never home. Right. And so my parents got divorced. I ended up living with my dad. I was on my own. Like, he was never around. And so while that seemed cool at the time, that build belief systems in, right? Like when you're doing, like, okay, well, this is how you're successful. Like, hey, my dad's making big money now. He's gone all the time. Well, you program, I have to work every day. And so when I was a real estate agent and I was in the top 1% of agents, I worked 7 days a week, right? Because that's what my dad did. And I'm like, this is how you do it. And so I hated that. I didn't like working every day. And so when I was making a lot of money, I walked away from it because I told myself I was bored. But looking back with that particular business, I didn't like working every day. I didn't like working weekends. I didn't want to work on nights. And that job, as a real estate agent, you're going to work a lot of nights and weekends. And I didn't have kids yet, so it was fine. Once I had kids is when I quit. But I didn't like, but I also know to this day several real estate agents that work basically 9 to 5 and kill it. Like they're in the top 1% of 1%, guys that are doing like 30, 40, 50 million a year in sales, and they don't work much at all. They don't work any weekends, they don't work any nights because they have a team. So it's all how you pitch it in your own head, right? If you think it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. And if you think money has to be hard to make, you have a limiting belief to shift. So I'll give you a framework right now. So the surface level limiting beliefs, these are the ones that are pretty easy to change. I have this thing called a decision director. So you take a piece of paper and you draw 2 lines down it. So there's 3 columns. In the column on the left, you write the old limiting belief. Let's just say you're bad with money. We'll do it, like, because lots of people are. So old limiting belief, I'm not good with money. Now, you don't have to overthink the next one. It's the new empowering decision. What do you believe now? Like, you're not bad with money. That's just something you used to believe because maybe how you grew up, maybe you made some bad decisions. Maybe you don't currently have any money. And so you just think automatically I'm bad. Well, if the new empowering decision doesn't have to, you don't have to overthink it. You could just be, I am good with money, because the third column is going to be evidence of the new decision. And that's where you're going to list evidence, like, oh, I do save money pretty well. I do, like I do this. I make, this much. You could find lots of opportunities for column 3, right? And so here's what you do. But here's how you program it in. Like, so whatever you can do this over and over again. There could be there could be 10 limiting beliefs you find, and then you new empowering decision, and there could be more than one new empowering decision for one limiting belief, and there could be 1 or 10 evidence of it in column 3. But whatever it is, you from this point on, you forget about column 1. You go to column 2. Take the voice notes of your phone, and in your voice, this is what the best part is, because it's your own voice, which your subconscious knows very well, and you record, I am good with money. And here's the evidence of that. And then you list off the evidence of that. And then if you have another limiting belief, you put it in there. And then you listen to that 3 times a day. And you remind yourself, oh, I am good with money. And here's the evidence of it. Oh, I am good in relationships. Here's the evidence of it. Because it's the same thing. Like, people tell themselves all the time, like, I'm never going to meet somebody new. Well, no, you're not. If you keep telling yourself you're not going to, your subconscious is going to make sure that happens. They're going to make sure you don't see opportunities. You could see the best person right in front of you, but because you tell yourself every day, there's no more good women, no more good men available, your subconscious says, nope, none are available. So there might be right there in front of you is the person you could marry, but you're not seeing it because you've told yourself every day there's no more good ones available. So you're like, oh, can't be a good one because I told myself there's none available. So when you see, like, well, there are good men and women available still. And here's evidence of that. Like, I meet people all the time that are nice. I know tons of gracious people. I know people that meet people all the time. And so when you're reprogramming, you're listening to it every day, it changes your subconscious. Like, that's how you reprogram a subconscious belief, because subconscious is where everything is stored, right? And so how do you get to that? Well, you got to do some programming, because it's like a computer program. It's no different. You already programmed it once. And so all we're doing is reprogramming it with new information, because the odds are you program that, like, you didn't program everything before you were 8, but most of it, especially the stuff that's causing problems in your life, you decided to believe when you were 5 years old, 6, 7, whatever, like coloring with a crayon, riding your bike, pooping in your pants still, and you made decisions about life that you carried into adulthood that you still believe today. Like, how wild is that? Like, once I realized that, I'm like, holy crap. Like a lot of us have had messed up, like mine was not super messed up. I don't know, mine was more messed up than anybody else's because we all got stories, right? Like when you get to know people and get to know their story from growing up, like, oh shit, my story is not that messed up. Like it's messed up, but that guy's is more messed up. Like I wouldn't have wanted his. Like I guess I didn't want mine, but I don't want that one more because he was sexually abused or he was physically abused or whatever. And so but what I realized and what I came to discover is that all the stuff that's messing with us, we decided when we were 5 or 6. I mean, it's crazy. And so because you decided to believe it then, like with your 5-year-old brain, like you're in theta mode. You just take all the information as true, true, true. Like you hear something, and so here's the crazy part. You're like, well, like I was talking to my mom about this. She's like, well, we didn't say anything that directly to you. I'm like, Mom, we hear stuff. We hear you guys fight. And we're like, oh, that's true. That fight's true. Money's hard to make. Money has to be hard. Money causes problems. You guys were like screaming at each other about money. Money's a problem. Money's a problem. Money's a problem. Like that gets like, so it doesn't have to be direct. We're hear your conversations when we're 1, when we're 2, when we're 3. And when we're 5 and 6 and 7, we're like, oh, well, this is the way it is. Money is hard to make. Money, parents fight. If you make a lot of money, your parents are going to fight. And if you're poor, your parents are going to fight about money. Money is a problem. You should get rid of money at all costs. Like that's what I believed. And I didn't know that I believed that, but I had to get rid of 6 businesses before I could. And so that's the decision director is how you get rid of the surface level limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
The core program is harder. Like that's the one you have to like figure out the resentment you hold against your parents and then let those go. And then it's like you want to feel like a weight has been lifted off. When you get rid of your core limiting belief, the one that's causing the biggest problems in your life, like again, mine was money causes problems. Money causes parents to fight and families to break up. But here's the even crazier thing. So do you want to compound this with how a lot of us grew up? The shows we grew up watching were filled with people, like all the people you loved. Like, so I grew up poor. My only access to wealthy people was TV. On the TV shows we watched, the people you related to, the people you were like, oh, that's my people. Maybe people made you laugh. Were the poor people, the people living in scarcity, living check to check. They drank a lot. They were, they were living how you live, and so you related to them. And then the wealthy people on the show were usually jerks, especially jerks to the people you liked. And so you grew up resenting wealthy people. So here I was building businesses. Successful. I'd live in a nice house, drive nice cars. I'm trying to get wealthy myself. And then I'd see somebody in a Rolls Royce and I'd be like, rich jerk. Like, what? Like, I don't even, most of the wealthy people I know now are very gracious and generous people. So why do I automatically assume when I see like a Range Rover or a Rolls Royce or a nice high-end car, why was I saying rich jerk? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so I had to reprogram that. I did it with the decision director, with the tool I just gave you, and how I did that. And now I see those cars and what's automatic. This is like when you start seeing differently. Like all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, it worked. And now I see those nice cars. And the automatic thought is, look at all the abundance in the world. Like that's automatic now. Where before I'd be like that rich jerk. It was even more choice than that, but every single time. And so you know what your subconscious is not going to let you do? Become a rich jerk. So it's going to make sure you get rid of all your money so you're not a rich jerk. So if you think rich people are jerks, you're never going to be one. And if you think they're incredibly gracious and generous people, which I do because that was my experience, you need to inform your subconscious of that because it doesn't know yet. So just because you believe it on the conscious level, like this is the same thing, like, because I quit drinking a long time ago. And people ask me all the time how I quit. Did you go to AA? Did you go to rehab? I'm like, no, I just made a decision to quit and I did. And so can you. But the problem is, the alcohol is a solution to a problem, right? It's not the problem ever. So consciously, like I want to quit drinking, but subconsciously, you're not there yet. And so you got to reprogram the stuff in the subconscious if you're going to get rid of that stuff. And we talked a little bit about NLP. Like I actually quit drinking with NLP like this. It was fascinating, actually. But I drank heavily and a lot. I was overweight. I ate terribly. I was literally 70 pounds more than I am now. And like one brief NLP session, and I didn't even know I was doing it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll pick drinking, and this probably won't work because I drink too much. And I was successful. I made a lot of money. I hung around people. This might resonate with some people. I hung around people that drank a lot more than I did. That were more successful than I did. Like one of my drinking buddies drove a Ferrari. It was like 15 years ago. Actually, this is 20 years ago, 22 years ago. Holy cow. But here's the craziest story. So I quit drinking. He wouldn't stop calling me to keep drinking. I'm like, dude, I told you. What I originally told people is I'm taking a 90-day break. I'm taking a 90-day break, and it's a health check-in. I'm like, I'll be back drinking. And a couple guys kept calling me to go drinking because we drank like 5, 6 days a week together after work. We'd go have some beers all the time. And these guys kept calling me. I'm like, okay, like I knew I was quitting. Well, I didn't know because I didn't know I could, but I never had a craving again. Like I made a decision and I quit. And so can you. But the sad part of that story is, and this might help some of you that if you do, this is off topic, but with drinking, that guy ended up drinking himself to death 3 years ago. So the guy that I hung out with, that was like he drinks more than I do. He's more successful than I am. He drives a Ferrari. He lives in the multi-million-dollar house. This is like long before I had anything like that. Drank himself to death 3 years ago. Like, so this is present day 3 years ago. So he never stopped drinking, and his ex-wife got remarried, drank himself to death one night.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's just choices, right? They're all choices we make. And so it's your subconscious programming that's calling the shots. So if you want to do something, if you want to stop something you do, whatever it is, you want to start working out, you want to stop drinking, you want to stop scrolling social media. Like I don't even do social media. Like you won't find me on it. Like at the end of this, I'll give you my website because if you want to contact me, you do it there. I'm hiring a person right now for social media to expand my reach because this is a newer business for me. But I don't go on social media at all. Like I'm on it like once a month to see if there's a random message on there, and that's it. Because I'm susceptible. Like those things are made to get you addicted to them. Like that's why people scroll for 2 hours a day. So I'm subject to that too. If I go on there, like, and you'll see on my Instagram, it's at my name, it's at Jim Huntzicker. I follow like 6 people. There's a couple of news things I like. My wife. That's it. Like I follow like, a couple of health doctors is really what it is, because I got rid of the news stuff because I'll go to the feeds, look for the news specifically. When I logged on to Instagram, I didn't want to like look at all I know the world sucks. I know people, so I was like, I don't want that on here. So I got rid of all that. But it's a choice. All of it's a choice. Like, so if you're like, oh, well, if I didn't scroll social media, well, you could just stop, like that, like you don't have to keep doing it, but you need to reprogram your subconscious. So it's not like it's a piece of cake because you can do it with willpower for a little while. But willpower will let go. Like willpower doesn't last forever. Nobody has enough willpower for it to last forever. But you can reprogram your subconscious. That you can do, and that does last forever.
Yeah, I love that, mate. Such a powerful ending. And, that's all that I think, if I was going to summarize is like, it's all a decision and you choose the path, right? Just because what's happened in the past doesn't dictate your future. You choose the way you want to go down. You've got the tools now that you've given us here today. I love the evidence part as well. On top of that, I haven't heard that one before. Right? What's the
It's
evidence on
key.
top of that?
That's the key. That is
Yeah,
the key to making it go away. The evidence. If you're looking
yeah,
for evidence, you'll find it. If you're not, you won't. When you say, okay, this is my thing, and you're like, let me find evidence, and it might take you a couple days. Like it's not like with me when I wasn't good at details because I said I wasn't, but now that I am good with details, that stuff comes up a lot clearer. But before this would have taken me days and days, and it could take you 3 or 4 days. Don't like this is not a 10-minute exercise. It might take you a week to put your decision director together or more. There's no time frame on this. Like once you see evidence, you're like, oh, and then you'll find more. And you'll send yourself a message. Oh, you're more, and more will come. But the evidence of it is the key, right? So like making a new empowering decision is important. But the evidence is what teaches your subconscious that, oh, there is, and then it's like, oh, because it sees it, right? It says, oh, okay, there is evidence. Then this is real. This is what I believe now. But they're listening to the thing 3 times a day. I did that for a month. And it reprogrammed my money mind, like all the small little things that were like, I'd see the wealthy, the high-end car. That was all reprogrammed with what I just told you, the decision director. And in the first time, it was like, look at all the abundance. I'm like, get out of here. It was instant. It was like, and again, this is going back about 5 years when I first learned this stuff. And it was like when you all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like I'm seeing the world differently. And I start like, again, like I used to be very judgmental and I'm not anymore. This work will change your life. And now I try to be a light everywhere I go. I used to, I would say I was cynical and I was not a light at all. And now I try to be a light for everybody, especially the people that look like they don't want you to, or the people that you don't want to like, oh, look at that guy. Like, oh, those are the people that need the light the most, right? Like go be a light to people that look like you wouldn't normally talk to them. It'll change your life. Because when you come with that positive energy, it's infectious. And you'll light up. So you'll see somebody's face light up and like you won't like, I can't stop. Like I love it. It's one of the best parts of my day. Making somebody who's sad, making them smile is one of my favorite things to do every day. If I could find somebody that could brighten just one person a day, it'll change your life.
Yeah, I love it, mate. So powerful, and yeah, you shared so much gold with us here today. And
Yeah, man.
we connected through our networks, learned about your awesome journey, and becoming a mindset strategist and coach. Awesome guy, so knowledgeable, so much amazing, actionable stuff. That's really going to change the game for us as business owners, entrepreneurs, right? That are hearing this today to get the level of success, but also the happiness, the freedom, right? The enjoyment, the fulfillment, right, in life. All of those elements, which are so important as well. And I'm sure you'll continue to help high performing entrepreneurs and high achievers destroy that internal resistance, rewire long life patterns, and finally create success. And very grateful, that we connected and had this conversation. I'm sure we're going to make a big impact with this, and I'm sure you continue to do that, and look forward to partnering as well. So, yes, Jim, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
Yeah, my website. If they go to the book, the name of the book is Mindset Breakthrough. If they go to mindsetbreakthrough.com, it'll take you to my website. The book's available on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon and put Mindset Breakthrough in, it'll come up. You can get to, there's links obviously on my website to get there too, but you can also download the book for free on my website. So it's not Amazon's like $11. But if you go to my website, you can just download the PDF for free. That's how it started. And then I had people like, this is awesome, but I'm not going to read this PDF. Can you give me it in a book? And so originally it was just to give to my clients as a PDF, and then it kind of evolved, and now it's a book, and it's going really well. Because it's all the frameworks that I talked about and more, and it's only 66 pages, so it's made as a tool, like it's I made it this size so it could be like a tool book, right? Like a toolkit. And so it's easy to go through, easy to take notes on. And plus the graphics I have in here are awesome. So I wanted a big, like big graphics in there. But that's how it all started. It was to give to my clients to get a baseline. And everyone wanted it in a book form. And so now it's in a book, and now it's selling, it's doing well. And so anyway, it's fantastic. It's it's a journey that brought me here. And this was a great conversation. It was great to meet you. I really appreciate you having me. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, definitely, mate. So definitely check out, Jim there with his book, Mindset Breakthrough, on the main website on Amazon, his own website, his socials and stuff as well. Amazing guy, so knowledgeable, and it's been a very powerful, mate. So yeah, it's been a pleasure interviewing you, and thanks for being on the Business Growth Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Business Growth Show, where we talk about everything on business growth. And please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. And if you want to grow and scale your business, you'd reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. So until next time, remember that our business grows where we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So let's create wealth and freedom together.